People have to understand the true meaning of a Métis, which is a person of mixed identity. Not just two, could be three or four, but it's a person of mixed identity.
They look at their family tree and say, oh, we've got some ancestry. Now I'm Métis. Be who you are. Don't be us. And I think that's what we're trying to say.
The 2016 census revealed that in some parts of Eastern Canada, the number of people who self-identified as Métis jumped by over 140%. The Supreme Court of Canada has ruled on 2 cases that attempt to determine who is Métis, but it's a complicated question. In 2003, the court ruled that Métis hunting rights are equal to the rights of other Indigenous peoples, but the court needed to identify exactly who would be entitled to those rights. So, the Pauli test was created to determine that. Among other things, the test requires an individual to be a member of a current Métis community and be able to prove an ancestral connection. 13 years later, in a different case, the court ruled that the federal government, not provincial governments, are responsible for laws affecting the rights of Métis peoples. But the court didn't specifically define who was considered to be Métis. There is yet to be a court case that affirms the rights of any Métis organization other than those that come from the Red River region in Manitoba. Some say the lack of clarity on who exactly is Métis has created a misconception about who is entitled to Métis rights.
Being Métis means that you are a part of that distinct nation, that distinct people. I think there's a move away from the understanding that we're Métis because we're mixed. If there is someone in Nova Scotia with mixed ancestry, who is it for me to say who they are? I can say who I am, and I can probably say that they're not us, which is where the whole disagreement comes in.
You know something, I could care less. I know what I'm doing in my heart. I know what I'm doing is right for my people, and I'm going to continue to do it. Laugh your heart out. I'm here. I'm staying.
The Manitoba Métis Federation is recognized by Canada as an official Indigenous government. It represents up to 35,000 Métis people. The Eastern Woodland Métis Nation of Nova Scotia is not recognized by any government. Parker says it represents over 70,000 self-identified Métis people.
What criteria does the MMF use to define its membership?
You have to self-identify, which is the fairly easy part of it. You have to have a connection to the historic Métis Nation, and you have to be accepted by the contemporary Métis Nation.
You must prove to us that you have native heritage from Nova Scotia, from the Mi'kmaq people. And it has to be at least, well, we don't put the generations. As long as you've got a drop of Indian blood in you, you're Métis.
Is there a cutoff point for how many generations back?
No. It's not fair. You are who you are.
At what point would an applicant get denied membership?
Well, if you were unable to prove your connection to the historic Métis Nation, then that would be a reason to deny.
Oh, if you go too far back, I mean, we just study. Actually, I don't think we've ever denied anybody. I don't know how I'd go about answering that question.
But you don't think that you've denied anybody entrance to?
I don't think we've, no. I don't think so.
There's a pretty big problem out there with what they're doing, and again, I'm careful, but there's some pretty big issues that they've got. They look at their family tree and say, oh, we've got some ancestry. Now I'm Métis. Now I can hunt just like these other people, and I'm going to start my own nation. If they are able to use that word Métis, then I think it calls into question our own nationhood, our own peoplehood. I
want recognition from my people. God, I've been in this business since 1973. I should know something. But the further ahead I walk, the further I go back. 2 steps ahead and 3 steps back. And it's pissing me off. I want people to understand that we are different from the norm, yet we are the same. Okay, we're only different because of our culture. We can't practice our culture because we've been put into the white man's culture. They would never let us practice our culture. I'm only a simple woman. That's all I am. I don't know how to go about all this to develop a community. I don't know if we'd be accepted, but to heck with that. If we develop a community, that's it.
I'm not saying that we don't need to have a conversation with those people who live in Quebec and New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. I'm saying I don't think we need to be scared of that conversation, but we need to be able to say what we say, and I think the facts speak for themselves more than anything.